Hokkaido, formerly known as Yezo, Yeso, or Yeso, is the second largest island of Japan, and the largest and northernmost prefecture. The Tsugaru Strait separates Hokkaido from Honshu, although the two islands are connected by the underwater railway Seikan Tunnel. The largest city on Hokkaido is its capital, Sapporo, which is also its only ordinance-designated city. History. Hokkaido was settled by the Ainus, Nik, and Auric peoples many years ago. The Nippon Shoki, finished in 720 AD, is often said to be the first mention of Hokkaido in recorded history. According to the text, Abner Hirafu led a large navy and army to northern areas from 658 to 660 and came into contact with the Mishihas and Emishi. One of the places Hirafu went to was called Watarashima, which is often believed to be present-day Hokkaido. However, many theories exist in relation to the details of this event, including the location of Watarashima and the common belief that the Emishi in Watarashima were the ancestors of the present-day Ainu people. During the Nara and Eran periods, people in Hokkaido conducted trade with Dewa province, an outpost of the Japanese central government. For the Middle Ages, the people in Hokkaido began to be called Ezo. Hokkaido, formerly known as Ezochi or Ezogashima. The Ezo mainly relied upon hunting and fishing and obtained rice and iron through trade with the Japanese. During the Muromachi period, the Japanese created a settlement at the south of the Oshima Peninsula. As more people moved to the settlement to avoid battles, disputes arose between the Japanese and the Ainu. The disputes eventually developed into a war. Takeda Nobuhiro killed the Ainu leader, Koshamane, and defeated the opposition in 1457. Nobuhiro's descendants became the rulers of the Matsuma Han, which was granted exclusive trading rights with the Ainu in the Azuchi, Momoyama, and Edo periods. The Matsuma family's economy relied upon trade with the Ainu. They held authority over the south of Ezochi until the end of the Edo period in 1868. The Matsuma clan rule over the Ainu must be understood in the context of the expansion of the Japanese feudal state. Medieval military leaders in northern Honshu maintained only tenuous political and cultural ties to the imperial court and its proxies, the Kamakura shogunate and Ashikaga shogunate. Feudal strongmen sometimes located themselves within medieval institutional order, taking shogunal titles, while in other times they assumed titles that seemed to give them a non-Japanese identity. In fact, many of the feudal strongmen were descended from Emishi military leaders who had been assimilated into Japanese society. The Matsuma clan were of Yamato descent like other ethnic Japanese people, whereas the Emishi of northern Honshu were a distinctive group related to the Ainu. The Emishi were conquered and integrated into the Japanese state dating back as far as the 8th century, and as a result began to lose the distinctive culture and ethnicity as they became minorities. By the time the Matsuma clan ruled over the Ainu, most of the Emishi were ethnically mixed and physically closer to Japanese than they were to Ainu. This dovetails nicely with the transformation theory that native Jomon peoples change gradually with the infusion of Yayoi immigrants into the Tohoku rather than the replacement theory, which posits that one population was replaced by another. There were numerous revolts by the Ainu against feudal rule. The last large-scale resistance was Shakushane's revolt in 1669 to 1672. In 1789, a smaller movement, the Minashi Kunisha Rebellion, was also crushed. After that rebellion, the terms Japanese and Ainus referred to clearly distinguished groups, and the Matsuma were unequivocally Japanese. In 1799 to 1821 and 1855 to 1858, the Edo shogunate took direct control over Hokkaido in response to a perceived threat threat from Russia. Leading up to the Meiji Restoration, the Tokugawa shogunate realized there was a need to prepare northern defenses against a possible Russian invasion and took over control of most of Ezochi. The shogunate made the plight of the Ainu slightly easier, but did not change the overall form of rule. Hokkaido was known as Ezochi until the Meiji Restoration. Shortly after the Boshin War in 1868, a group of Tokugawa loyalists led by Enomoto Takaki temporarily occupied the island, but the rebellion was crushed in May 1869. Ezochi was subsequently put under control of Hokkaido prefectural government. When establishing the Development Commission, the Meiji government introduced a new name. After 1869, the northern Japanese island was known as Hokkaido, and regional subdivisions were established, including the provinces of Oshima, Shirabeshi, Iburi, Ishikari, Teshio, Gatami, Hidaka, Tokachi, Kushiro, Nemuro and Shishima. The primary purpose of the Development Commission was to secure Hokkaido before the Russians extended the control of the Far East beyond Vladivostok. Kuroda Kiyotaka was put in charge of the venture. His first step was to journey to the United States and recruit Horace Capron, President Grant's Commissioner of Agriculture. From 1871 to 1873, Capron bent his efforts to expanding Western agriculture and mining with mixed results. Capron, frustrated with obstacles to his efforts, returned home in 1875. Indiana 1876, William South Clark arrived to found an agricultural college in Sapporo. Although he only remained a year, Clark left lasting impression on Hokkaido, inspiring the Japanese with his teachings on agriculture as well as Christianity. His parting words, "Boys, be ambitious," can be found on public buildings in Hokkaido to this day. The population of Hokkaido boomed from 58,000 to 240,000 during that decade. In 1882, the Development Commission was abolished, and Hokkaido was separated into three prefectures: Hokkaido Prefecture, Sapporo Prefecture, and Nemuro Prefecture. In 1886, the three prefectures were abolished, and Hokkaido was put under the Hokkaido Agency. Hokkaido became equal with other prefectures in 1947, when the revised local autonomy law became effective. The Japanese central government established the Hokkaido Development Agency as an agency of the Prime Minister's office in 1949 to maintain its executive power in Hokkaido. The agency was absorbed by the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport in 2001. The Hokkaido Bureau and the Hokkaido Regional Development Bureau of the ministry still have a strong influence on public construction projects in Hokkaido. In mid-July 1945, shipping, cities and military facilities in Hokkaido were attacked by the United States Navy's Task Force 38. On 14 and 15 July, aircraft operating from the task force's aircraft carriers sank and damaged a large number of ships in ports along Hokkaido's southern coastline as well as in northern Honshu. In addition, on 15 July, a force of 3 battleships and 2 light cruisers bombarded the city of Muroran. Naming of Hokkaido. When establishing the Development Commission, the Meiji government decided to change the name of Ezochi. Matsuura Takeshiro submitted 6 proposals, including names such as Kaihokudo and Hokkaido, to the government. The government eventually decided to use the name Hokkaido, but decided to write it as a compromise between and because of the similarity with names such as Tokaido. According to Matsuura, the name was thought up because the Ainu called the region Kai. Historically, many peoples who had interactions with the ancestors of the Ainu called them and their islands Kuyi, Kuye, Qoy, or some similar name, which may may have some connection to the early modern form kai. The kai element also strongly resembles the Sino-Japanese reading of the characters, which have been used for over 1,000 years in China and Japan as the standard orthographic form to be used when referring to Ainu and related peoples. It is possible that Matsuura's kai was actually an alteration, influenced by the Sino-Japanese reading of ka-un of the Nikkei for the Ainus, namely Qoy or IPA. There is no known established Ainu language word for the island of Hokkaido. However, the Ainu people did have a name for all of the domain, which included Hokkaido along with the Kuril Islands, Sakhalin, and parts of northern Honshu, which was Ainu Mosia, a name taken by the modern Ainu to refer to the traditional homeland. Ainu Mosia literally translates as the land where people live, and it was traditionally used to be contrasted with Kamui Mosia, the land of the Kamui. Geography. The island of Hokkaido is located at the north end of Japan, near Russia, and has coastlines on the Sea of Japan, the Sea of Okhotsk, and the Pacific Ocean. The center of the island has a number of mountains and volcanic plateaus, and there are coastal plains in all directions. Major cities include Sapporo and Asahikawa in the central region and the port of Hokkaido facing Honshu. The governmental jurisdiction of Hokkaido incorporates several smaller islands, including Rishiri, Okushiri Island, and Ribun. Because the prefectural status of Hokkaido is denoted by the do in its name, it is rarely referred to as Hokkaido Prefecture, except when necessary to distinguish the governmental entity from the island. The island ranks 21st in the world by area. It is 3.6% smaller than the island of Ireland, while Hispaniola is 6.1% smaller than Hokkaido. By population it ranks 20th between Ireland and Sicily. Hokkaido's population is 4.7% less than that of the island of Ireland, and Sicily's is 12% lower than Hokkaido's. In the east, there are two areas where a grid with spacing of nearly 3 kilometers is formed by narrow bands of forest. It was designed to buffer wind, especially during blizzards, to protect cattle. It also serves as habitat and transportation corridors for animals and hikers. Seismic activity. Like many areas of Japan, Hokkaido is seismically active. Aside from numerous earthquakes, the following volcanoes are still considered active: Mount Koma, Mount Yeso and Shoshinzen, Mount Taramai, Mount Tokachi, Mount Mikan. In 1993, an earthquake of magnitude 7.7 generated a tsunami which devastated Okushiri, killing 202. An earthquake of magnitude 8.3 struck near the island on 26 September 2003. National parks and quasi-national parks. There are still many undisturbed forests in Hokkaido, including *designated a World Heritage Site by UNESCO on 14 July 2005. 12 prefectural natural parks. The prefectural natural parks cover 146,802 hectares, the largest area of any prefecture. Akashi Prefectural Natural Park, Ezan Prefectural Natural Park, Faruano Ashibetsu Prefectural Natural Park, Yuyama Prefectural Natural Park, Kariba Moti Prefectural Natural Park, Matsuma Yagoshi Prefectural Natural Park, North Okhotsk Prefectural Natural Park, Nopporo Shinran-Kone Prefectural Natural Park, Notsuki Furan Prefectural Natural Park, Sharadake Prefectural Natural Park, Shumarinai Prefectural Natural Park, Teshiodaki Prefectural Natural Park. Wildlife. There are 3 populations of the Hokkaido brown bear. There are more brown bears than anywhere else in Asia. The Hokkaido brown bear is separated into 3 distinct lineages. There are only 8 lineages in the world. Those on Honshu died out long ago. Sub-prefectures. From April 2010, Hokkaido has 9 general sub-prefectural bureaus and 5 sub-prefectural bureaus. Prior to that, Hokkaido is one of 8 prefectures in Japan that have sub-prefectures. However, it is the only one of the 8 to have such offices covering the whole of its territory outside the main cities. This is mostly due to its great size. Many parts of the prefecture are simply too far away to be effectively administered by Sapporo. Sub-prefectural offices in Hokkaido carry out many of the duties that prefectural offices fulfill elsewhere in Japan. Before the current political divisions and after 1869, Hokkaido was divided into provinces. See former provinces of Hokkaido. Climate. Hokkaido has relatively cool summers and icy, snowy winters. Most of the island falls in the humid continental climate zone, with Köppen climate classification DFB in most areas but DFA in some inland, lowlands. The average August temperature ranges from 17 to 22 degrees Celsius, while the average January temperature ranges from -12 to -4 degrees Celsius. In both cases depending on elevation and distance from the ocean, though temperatures on the western side of the island tend to be a little warmer than on the eastern. The northern portion of Hokkaido falls into the taiga biome, with significant snowfall. Snowfall varies widely from as much as 11 meters on the mountains adjacent to the Sea of Japan down to around 1.8 meters on the Pacific coast. The island tends to see isolated snowstorms that develop long-lasting snow banks, in contrast to the constant flurries seen in the Hokuriku region. Total precipitation varies from 1,600 mm on the mountains of the Sea of Japan coast to around 800 mm on the Sea of Okhotsk coast and interior lowlands, and up to around 1,100 mm on the Pacific side. Unlike the other major islands of Japan, Hokkaido is normally not affected by the June to July rainy season and the relative lack of humidity, and typically warm, rather than hot, summer weather makes its climate an attraction for tourists from other parts of Japan. In winter, the generally high quality of powder snow and numerous mountains in Hokkaido make it a popular region for snow sports. The snowfall usually commences in earnest in November, and ski resorts usually operate between December and April. Hokkaido celebrates its winter weather at the Sapporo Snow Festival. During the winter, passage through the Sea of Okhotsk is often complicated by large flows of drift ice, combined with high winds that occur during winter. This frequently brings air travel and maritime activity to a halt beyond the northern coast of Hokkaido. Ports on the open Pacific Ocean and Sea of Japan are generally ice-free year-round, though most rivers freeze during the winter. Major cities and towns. Hokkaido's largest city is the capital, Sapporo, which is a designated city. The island has 2 core cities, Hokkaido in the south and Asahikawa in the central region. Other important population centers include Kushiro, Obihiro, Kitami, Abashiri, Iwakanai, and Nemuro. Hokkaido has the highest rate of depopulation in Japan. In 2000, 152 of Hokkaido's 212 municipalities were shrinking. Altogether, shrinking municipalities in Japan in the same year numbered 1,171. Economy. Although there is some light industry, most of the population is employed by the service sector. In 2001, the service sector and other tertiary industries generated more than 3/4 of the gross domestic product. However, agriculture and other primary industries play a large role in Hokkaido's economy. Hokkaido has nearly 1/4 of Japan's total arable land. It ranks first in the nation in the production of a host of agricultural products, including wheat, soybeans, potatoes, sugar beet, onions, pumpkins, corn, raw milk, and beef. Hokkaido also accounts for 22% of Japan's forests with a sizable timber industry. The prefecture is also first in the nation in production of marine products and aquaculture. Tourism is an important industry, especially during the cool summertime when visitors are attracted to Hokkaido's open spaces from hotter and more humid parts of Japan and other Asian countries. During the winter, skiing and other winter sports bring other tourists, and increasingly international ones, to the island. Transportation. Hokkaido's only land link to the rest of Japan is the Seikan Tunnel. Most travelers travel to the island by air. The main airport is New Chitose Airport at Chitose, just south of Sapporo. Tokyo Chitose is in the top 10 of the world's busiest air routes, handling more than 40 wide-body round trips on several airlines each day. One of the airlines, Air-Do, was named after Hokkaido. Hokkaido can also be reached by ferry from Sendai, Niigata and some other cities, with the ferries from Tokyo dealing only in cargo. Within Hokkaido, there is a fairly well-developed railway network, but many cities can only be accessed by road. Hokkaido is home to one of Japan's 3 melody roads, which is made from grooves cut into the ground, which when driven over causes a tactile vibration and audible rumbling transmitted through the wheels into the car body. Education. The Hokkaido Prefectural Board of Education oversees public schools in Hokkaido. Public elementary and junior high schools are operated by municipalities, and public high schools are operated by either the Prefectural Board or municipalities. Hokkaido has 37 universities, 34 junior colleges, and 5 colleges of technology. National universities located in Hokkaido are Hokkaido University, Hokkaido University of Education, Muroran Institute of Technology, Otaru University of Commerce, Obihiro University of Agriculture and Veterinary Medicine, Asahikawa Medical University, Katami Institute of Technology. Hokkaido government runs Sapporo Medical University, a medical school in Sapporo. Sports. The 1972 Winter Olympics were held in Sapporo. The sports teams listed below are based in Hokkaido. Association Football Consadole Sapporo. Baseball Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. Ice hockey Nippon Paper Cranes. OG Eagles. Basketball Levanger Hokkaido Japan Basketball League. American football Hokkaido American Football Association. Winter festivals. Sapporo Snow Festival, Asahikawa Snow Festival, Sunkyo Ice Festival, Big A Snowboarding Freestyle Competition. International relations. Hokkaido has relationships with several provinces, states, and other entities worldwide. Alberta, Canada, since 1980. Heilongjiang, China, since 1980. Massachusetts, USA, since 1988. Sakhalin Oblast, Russia, since 1998. Busan, South Korea, since 2005. Gyeongsang-namdo, South Korea, since 2006. Seoul, South Korea, since 2010. As of January 2014, 74 individual municipalities in Hokkaido have sister city agreements with 114 cities in 21 different countries worldwide. Politics. Governor. The current governor of Hokkaido is Harumi Takahashi. She won a fourth term in the gubernatorial election in 2015 with center-right support. Her first election in 2003 in a close race against center-left supported Yoshio Hashiro and 7 other candidates ended a 20-year streak. Victories by Socialist Party heavyweight Takahiro Yokomichi and then his former vice-governor Tatsuya Hori, who beat Hideko Ito twice by large Margins. Ito, a former Socialist Diet member, was supported by the Liberal Democratic Party against Hori in 1995. In 1999, Hori was supported by all major non-communist parties and Ito ran without party support. Before 1983, the governorship had been held by Liberal Democrats Naohiro Gakunai and Kingo Makimura for 24 years. In the 1971 election, when Makimura retired, the socialist candidate Shohei Sukada lost to Gakunai by only 13,000 votes. Sukada was also supported by the Communist Party, the leftist cooperation in opposition to the U.S.-Japanese Security Treaty had brought joint socialist-communist candidates to victory in many other prefectural and local elections in the 1960s and 1970s. In 1959, Makimura had defeated Yokomichi's father Setsuo in the race to succeed Hokkaido's first elected governor, Socialist Toshibumi Tanaka, who retired after 3 terms. Tanaka had only won the governorship in 1947 in a runoff election against Democrat Eiji Arima because no candidate had received the necessary vote share to win in the first round as required by law at the time. Assembly. The Hokkaido Prefectural Assembly has 101 members from 47 electoral districts. As of April 30, 2015, the LDP caucus holds a majority with 51 seats. The DPJ-led group has 26 members. Other groups of the Hokkaido Yushika of New Party Daichi and Independence with 12 seats, Komito with 8, and the Japanese Communist Party with 4 members. General elections for the Hokkaido Assembly are currently held together with gubernatorial elections in the unified local elections. National representation. For the lower house of the National Diet, Hokkaido is divided into 12 single-member electoral districts. In the 2014 election, candidates from the governing coalition of Liberal Democrats and New Komito won 9 districts, Democrats 3. For the proportional election segment, Hokkaido and Tokyo are the only 2 prefectures that form a regional block district of their own. The Hokkaido Proportional Representation Bloc elects 8 representatives. In 2014, the Liberal Democratic Party received 29.8% of the proportional vote and won 3 seats. The Democratic Party won 2. 1 seat each went to Komito, Japan Innovation Party, and, for the first time since the 2000 lower house election, the Japanese Communist Party. More than 4% of Hokkaido proportional votes in 2014 went to a minor protest group named Shiji Seto Nashi. In the upper house of the National Diet, a major reapportionment in the 1990s halved the number of councillors from Hokkaido per election from 4 to 2. After the elections of 2010 and 2013, the Hokkaido electoral district, like most 2-member districts for the upper house, is represented by 2 Liberal Democrats and 2 Democrats. In the 2016 upper house election, the district magnitude will be raised to 3. Hokkaido will then temporarily be represented by 5 members and 6 after the 2019 election. Bibliography by Sinyani, J.D. Japan Handbook. Chico, California. Moon Publications. ISBN 9780960332229, ISBN 9780908054145, OCLC 8954556. McDougall, Walter A. Let the Sea Make a Noise, A History of the North Pacific from Magellan to MacArthur. New York, Basic Books. ISBN 9780465051526, OCLC 28017793. Nussbaum, Lewis Frederick and Kathy Roth. Japan Encyclopedia. Cambridge, Harvard University Press. ISBN 978-0674-01753-5 OCLC 58053128. John Batchelor, Japanese Central Association. An Itinerary of Hokkaido, Japan, Volume 1. Tokyo, Hakodate Chamber of Commerce.